Hi guys, happy Easter. I hope you guys are having an awesome weekend. I wanted to do an Easter themed acrylic pour, so I created this new bunny decal, which I sell on my CraftyJenn art store. You can see the link up here in the right hand corner, or in the description there's links as well. I also snip just the little ends so that the vinyl won't come back on itself for you guys, because I don't want you to have any issues when peeling the vinyl. So if you see little snips on the sides, that's what I'm doing, just so that the small skinny piece of vinyl won't get stuck back on itself, just to help you out a little bit. So this is the super cute little bunny one for Easter themed acrylic pour. And in this video I also covered an Easter egg with the paint skin I created from this pour, and I also used this canvas and to display that Easter egg. So we'll be showing that a little later on in the video, but for now I'll just show you my CraftyJenn silhouette acrylic pour technique. And it's super simple. You just take the pre-cut vinyls. You can cut them yourself, or you can just order them on my store. Super easy if you just want to try it out. And I like to use a pencil just to mark where I'm going to put the silhouette. That way when I'm applying the Liquid gloss varnish, link in the description for that as well. This is it right here. Basically I know where to go over. So you want to make sure to spread a thin layer of Liquid gloss varnish underneath the vinyl and out from the vinyl, and then I use the brush to push down on the vinyl into the wet Liquid gloss. So super simple, makes for a really great, unique, advanced kind of acrylic pouring technique. And you can do tons of different kinds of silhouettes. I have a whole bunch on my store if you're interested at all. But yeah, this is how we seal the vinyl down. So I did this one a little bit quickly, so I didn't wait till it was completely dry, which is okay because I did get some leakage underneath the vinyl, and I'm gonna show you also how I fix if that happens. So it's never the end of the world when that happens, and if it happens to you, this video will show you how to fix it if it does happen. So just make sure thin layer, you don't need thick layer, underneath and on top of the vinyl. Just push it down in the wet gloss while it's sitting there, and you should be good to go, and then just let it dry fully and it should seal up nice. Alright, now it's time to get to painting. I use these pastel colors. I got some pink, purple, another pink, a blue, and of course I'm using white for the bunny. You can mix any colors you'd like for your Easter bunny, or you can even do the bunny not a white, but you could do a brown bunny or a black bunny or a pink bunny, a purple bunny. It doesn't matter. Pick whatever colors you'd like to mix up. If you're interested in the formula and everything, I have an ebook for beginners on my CraftyJenn art store. It's just easier than me writing it all out for you. There's links in there and everything. It's not very expensive, so you could check it out. It's also in the description. There's a link there too. So with all of these mixed up, I just basically dotted them around on the canvas. I thought dots because of, you know, Easter eggs kind of, or you can do lines if you want to, but I went with dots and kind of just splurted it all over, little Jackson Pollock kind of work. And then I basically swipe once, and I was debating swiping again, but I decided to tip the canvas. You can definitely swipe back and then swipe again. I've done it several times on other videos. I know it makes people nervous, but it's worth trying. I find that it totally works if you want to do a couple more swipes, and things don't get too muddy usually, as long as you're not using like complementary colors. Like if you're red and green, it might get muddy. But with these colors, they worked out really good. They created these really cool cells. And then with the swiping, I wanted to bring the cells more towards the front of the bunny where the silhouette is. So that's why I tilted the canvas. And I wanted just more colorful cells where the silhouette was, to really give a cute contrast. And I think it worked out really good for this one. So I'm excited on how it turned out and how these colors work together for it. Now I also use the torch, and if you're wondering what the torch is for, it's a little craft torch. It is used to pop the silicone bubbles that occur because you're adding silicone to this mixing formula. So it helps to create more cells, and the cells will just naturally grow if you got the right consistency and the right formula. I find, well, for me, that's what works anyways. And I use the craft torch to help create more cells to grow and also pop those bubbles so there's no issues later. Now, people ask if you could use a hair dryer or blow on it. You can, but you got to be aware that if you use a hair dryer, you can blow the paint right off your canvas, which is another technique completely with acrylic pouring. So, or if you blow it through a straw or something. Just be aware of that. Whereas the torch doesn't create any air that's really forcefully going to blow the paint off. So that's just something to think about when you want to use a torch for this technique, which I find for me helps, but it'll definitely, using the formula with Floetrol, you'll still get cells even if you were to not use the torch. But you might have some issues with the bubbles, so just something to think about. But that's basically why we use the craft torch. All right, here's the beautiful paint skin that I created from the leftover paint. And the painting is now dry, and it's time to remove that vinyl silhouette, which is pretty easy because I didn't quite let it dry completely before I painted the right hand side. So I did get a lot of paint that leaked under. So it's really important to make sure that you let that Liquitex gloss varnish dry completely before doing your silhouette paint, but I was impatient, so I just kind of kept rolling the cameras and going for it. So, but now it has completely dried, but I did get paint that leaked under, and it leaked quite a bit, which is okay because it's not going to be the end of the world. If this happens to you, this is fixable. So don't go thinking you have to throw this out or your painting's ruined. I'm going to show you right now how I fix these really big, like bumpy paint spillage on the other side. So here you'll see I'm using a Dremel. This is just the one I have. I think it's an older model. It's 8200. There's lots of different kinds of Dremels. I have a sanding drum on the end, which I'm going to use to sand down that paint. So you can see from this angle that the paint lifts up off the canvas and it creates a ridge and it's really bumpy. So when you go to paint over it, that ridge is gonna show up really, really evidently. And basically exactly how you see it, you're gonna see that no matter how you paint over it. So it's good to sand it down so that it's flush or at least flat. And then when you go to paint over it, it's not as noticeable, quite honestly, because you could paint a scene, you could hide that with, let's say, some cute bushes if you wanted to do a scenery for the bunny, or you could do like I'm going to do is a solid color and just paint over all of that. But it's important to sand it. You can also use a piece of sandpaper and hand sand it, but I find that that takes a lot more work than just using this Dremel. So if you have a Dremel, it's a benefit for you to just keep it low to the same plane as the canvas, so on an angle super flat, and then just run it through. And if you all of a sudden sand a hole through your canvas, like I almost did right here, don't worry. You can fix that as well by just putting a little bit of gesso in there and letting it dry and sealing up that hole. So, but try your best not to sand a hole through the canvas and just sand that paint right off the top surface of the canvas. This way, when you paint back over it, it'll just cover it up. You won't have any issues, and the whole thing will look really good. So don't fret if you get paint leakage. It's fixable, and so are the holes. If you get some holes in it, just add a little bit of gesso, let it dry, easy peasy. All right, another important step is cleaning your canvas. I had a lot of silicone that showed up in this one because I accidentally over squirted my silicone into a couple of the colors. So it was pretty, you're going to see it like as a shiny area on your canvas. It's kind of greasy. That's the silicone left over. So I just use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I have had people comment you can use water, like a little bit of soapy water as well, to get it off, but whichever technique you like to clean your canvases, I just prefer the isopropyl alcohol because it evaporates really quickly and I can continue working. But I also clean the paint skin that I created. So here I'm kind of feeling around. I can feel the greasiness of that silicone. So I'm going to clean my entire paint skin off. So a little bit of paint comes off with the isopropyl alcohol, but it's not enough to hurt or damage your painting. Now, if I was to keep swiping over and over again the same areas, you'll see a lot more paint coming off. So you need to let that alcohol evaporate before wiping the next layer. Now, this is super fun. I wanted to show you, I'm working on my Loli Vifi silicone mat, which I absolutely love. I actually have a few of them because I do so many paintings. I'm peeling off this ginormous paint skin. Now, you can use this for jewelry or cut it out for other art projects and stuff. These things are super handy and really fun. And even the back, you can get some really cool colors on the back side too. So not only the cells on the front, but also on the back side. And it's so easy to peel off these Loli Vifi mats. There's links in the description if you're interested in them for a discount. You can use my code. And yeah, they're great to have on hand, even a few of them. So I'm going to use the positive side of the vinyl, which you get both sides, the negative and positive side when you buy my pre-cut vinyls. And I'm going to place it over my already painted area. And this is going to protect my painting that I've already painted so far with the acrylic pour and swipe technique. And now that'll help me to paint the negative side a little bit easier. Instead, like if some people have trouble where you don't want to hand paint right against the silhouette, just use the positive side of the vinyl, and you don't have to secure it down with any gloss varnish or anything. I just stick it down, and I make sure that when I paint the negative side, I paint down and away from the vinyl. And make sure to push it down with some paint, and then you can kind of paint along the edge once you know that that vinyl is going to stay down because there's paint that has pushed it down to keep it in place. So that's what I'm doing here. I used the beautiful kind of turquoisey pastel color for this side because I wanted to feature, I didn't want to do a scene. I wanted to feature that Easter egg on that side with a cutout. So that's why I chose to just paint the negative space one color. But you can definitely paint a cute little bunny scene or a little forest scene for your rabbit on this side if you so choose. Now let's say you peel off that vinyl and you notice that a little bit of your blue or whatever color you use did get underneath it. Feel free to just touch it up by wiping it with a little bit of water, or even just you can take some white paint and paint back over once that blue color has dried. So I had this happen to me. It happens a few times. Nothing's ever totally perfect in the painting world. And the nice part about acrylics is they dry quickly and you can go back in and paint back over it in order to touch up or fix little mistakes. So if you need to, just touch up around your border or the edge of your silhouette to create a nice sharp even edge for your cute little bunny. Whirl, and I wanted to cover this plastic egg that I just got from the dollar store with the paint skin. So I kind of tried cutting some of the paint skin out in order to cover the egg. And I know that paint skin, when it first dries, or if you keep it stored between parchment paper, will stay malleable. So basically you can stretch it a little bit. It's not going to dry out on you. if you keep it in between parchment paper, and that way you can manipulate it. So that was what I wanted to do. And I found that even though this side is cellular, I really, really liked the effect of this turquoise and purple on the back side. And so that's the side I chose to cover the egg with, was the back side of it. And I'm just using some Mod Podge to glue or adhere the paint skin with. And I'm pulling and I'm tugging and I'm just kind of manipulating the paint skin in order to wrap around. I also had to cut slits in the paint skin in order to overlap them so they would actually fit around the egg surface, because obviously there was way more of the paint skin, or from wrapping a gift probably at Christmas, when it's round, it's really hard to wrap. But this way you can overlap them and stuff like. It's not a perfect job. I was trying to get this done for Easter here, but I would definitely take my time in the future to make sure that the slats or the cuts that I put in it make it overlap really nicely and stuff like that. Now, you've probably seen a whole bunch of people that pour on eggs, which is something else you could do. Definitely, you could do an acrylic pour with some of the leftover paint on an egg. Or if you paint Easter eggs and you want to show off one that you've hand painted and done a beautiful job on, you could create an acrylic pour painting with the bunny and then use it to showcase in this technique your beautiful egg that you've hand painted or created. So this is just me creating a fun paint skin covered Easter egg that you could also do this with kids, or you could pour on an egg with kids, and then you could definitely set this inside of your painting, and that way it'll hang there and showcase and be super special. So that is what I am going to do right now, is basically cut a hole in the canvas so I can set the colorful Easter egg inside. Here I'm just using a white chalk pencil, perfect for marking on paintings because the chalk, you can just wipe it away. It's not permanent, it won't stay. And then what I wanted to do was mimic the egg shape in the shape of the hole that I was going to cut inside of the canvas. I've done this before to do dream catchers. I've used a metal ring instead because I wanted structure, because I'm pulling on that string for dream catchers. But here I was just going to hang the egg to showcase it inside the painting. So I didn't really need a ring or anything. The canvas is really good at holding itself together. So all I did was I marked it out with the chalk, and I used an X-Acto knife to cut the egg shape out. Now you still have to cut little slits in the side, because to fold over the edge, it won't fold over well if you didn't cut little slits. So just use your X-Acto or scissors in order to create those little slots, and then just simply fold the edges over. You can flip over your canvas. I glued them down with some super glue, but you could definitely use Mod Podge or anything to glue these little edges down, and it'll make a nice clean inserted hole on the other side that you can put your egg into. And I got these cute little tiny hooks on Amazon. There'll be a link in the description. And it was super simple. I just poked a little hole, slipped this little S hook, it's an S hook, into the top of the space. And that is where I chose to just hang the egg on. And luckily these plastic eggs already had a little like eyelet for you to hook into. So it worked out absolutely perfect. And I love, love, love how it turned out. So this would be super special if you had, let's say, an Easter egg that was painted with your grandma or something. You could showcase it in a beautiful painting like this and have it on your wall. You could bring it out for Easter each time, and that way it'd be extra special showpiece. I just thought it would be a super cute way to present a beautiful Easter egg you create with a beautiful painting, all Easter themed. You could also do a different kind of theme as well, where you showcase something and have it displayed next to your silhouette acrylic pour painting if you like. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and this Easter theme bunny one. And I hope you guys are having an absolutely awesome Easter weekend. So thank you so much, guys, for subscribing, liking, watching, commenting. I greatly appreciate it. And definitely check out the links below. They help me out greatly, and there's no extra cost to you. So I greatly appreciate it when you use any of my links or my codes. So happy Easter, guys. Keep on creating.